Hello everyone. We're getting back together today to cook up a wonderful recipe. Now, we are talking healthy eating. We are talking nutrition this week. And if you don't understand what I mean by that, then you're not in the group that this video was actually made for. But we are talking healthy eating, nutrition. Now, I want to talk about something a little bit different. So let's think about this. When we crave food, for myself, I will crave something that I have at a restaurant, right? That I know is probably not healthy for me, but I crave it. And lots of the times I cave to that craving. Now, if you can find a dupe recipe, something that is very similar in nature that you can make at home that will satisfy that craving, and not only that, but you feel so gratified being able to make that yourself. And it's even more fun than when you can share it with others, okay? So we are kind of making a dupe recipe today. So this is a copycat, and I don't know if you've ever seen these books, Top Secret Recipes. So these people actually put together cookbooks where they just do dupes of restaurant food that everybody loves, right? So it's organized in the glossary or whatever by restaurant. So you can even go to like wherever, Olive Garden, and look at the stuff from Olive Garden. They have come up with pretty much like the exact match recipe. Now what's nice about this is that you can also make substitutions for healthier choices in those recipes if you so desire, but you will have that same flavor content, okay? So today we're doing Qdoba, copycat chicken breasts. Now, if you are familiar with Qdoba, they have what they call, I think they call them rice bowls or something like that, but they're delightful. And you can choose all these toppings, and if you know me, I'm all about condiments and like putting stuff on my food, dipping my food. So I love eating like this, but this is the chicken portion of it, okay? Now the recipe calls for it that you would actually grill it in a pan. You can do that. I don't like smelling like that. So I'm a big proponent of grilling outside. So I am going to talk Scott into doing this outside. And we are making like a boatload of this because I'm actually making this for a couple events. And it is, in my opinion, even better reheated. So it's super easy to make. We're gonna make the marinade and marinate this chicken, and then you just cook it off however you want to, whatever's most convenient for you, okay? So this marinade starts out, well, the recipe starts with chicken, okay? So boneless chicken breast. Again, I've got like 21 pounds of chicken I'm doing, and I won't bore you with all that and waste your time, but we're gonna just make actually we're gonna do 3 recipes of this. So of course you can make marinade in a container, or you could do it in a Ziploc bag. And I know lots of people are into the Ziploc things. When I'm doing it in quantity like this, I've got 3 containers like this, and they're just like my marinade containers. Very seldom do I use them for anything else. So that is what I am doing. So the chicken breasts, if you are going to do them on your stovetop, I would recommend you pound them a little bit thinner so they're gonna cook evenly. We don't seem to have that issue on the grill. They'll cook well no matter what, and that is the intention here. So it starts out with minced garlic. So 2 cloves per 2 pounds of chicken, okay? So I'm gonna be doing 7 pounds of chicken in each container, but I'm just gonna be making 3 recipes of marinade. Does that make sense? So it's gonna be 2 cloves per 2 pounds of chicken. So I have already peeled my garlic, and I've got some going right here. So I've minced it, and if you don't have a mincer, of course you can just like chop it up super fine, and that is fine too. So whatever you want to do. But I think most people have mincers just because garlic is such a staple food in most kitchens. So there is the garlic, and then like I say, we are doing 3 recipes. So I'm gonna add a little bit more here that I've already done in advance. Okay, next thing, 2 tablespoons of olive oil per 2 pounds of chicken. Okay, so 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Now, this is where you can take your math skills really to the next level, right? So I actually need 6 tablespoons, and 6 tablespoons, it's 15 mils per tablespoon. So I'm actually just measuring this from a cup because it's easier than doing all of that. All right, so olive oil. Get good quality olive oil. So I really like the Lucchini. I think it's a beautiful bottle, and I kind of buy stuff by how it looks too. So I won't be shy about it. It is what it is. That is what I do. Okay, so there's our olive oil. There's our garlic. Pretty basics. Then here's the fun ingredient. Now this makes it. You cannot like skimp on this product. So this is adobo sauce from a can of chipotle peppers. Okay, you'll find this in the Mexican food aisle. So when you open this can up, these peppers are like in here, in this sauce, okay? So you pull out, there's onions and all kinds of stuff in here that it's kind of marinating and marrying these flavors, but there are peppers in here, okay? So what I do, because we actually make this recipe, it's pretty staple, especially during the summer for us. So what I do is I will dump this whole can out. It's kind of a mess. Chop the whole thing, like going both ways, like chop the crap out of it so you get it really nice and fine. And then I use what I need and I freeze the rest and just label my container. That way when I need it, it's good to go. Because I obviously don't always make 21 pounds of chicken like this, okay? So this calls for 2 tablespoons of the sauce. However, I mix it all together. So there's some peppers in here too, and that is totally fine, okay? So I am going to measure out again for my 3 recipes, but you would only be using 2 tablespoons. And if you wanted to just use the sauce, of course you could do that, but there's really no reason to waste the peppers either, right? Okay. So there, that's really our magic ingredient. I'm gonna tell you right there. It's a smoky flavor. I don't know how you make this stuff. I'm sure there's a recipe out there to make your own adobo sauce. It's delicious. Okay, next thing, tablespoon of chili powder. I gotta wipe my fingers. Sorry about that. Okay, tablespoon of chili powder. And again, you guys, get yourself quality spices. Quality matters. So this is going to be 1 tablespoon per 2 pounds, okay? So I'm gonna be tripling my recipe again. And you can find recipes for chili powder online to mix up your own. And that's what I do. I just like my bottles consistent. I buy all my spices from the same company anyway, and once upon a time I did buy their mix. Now I just make my own and refill my bottle. Okay, next thing is gonna be a teaspoon of cumin. Again, crucial ingredient. This stuff is wonderful. So 1 teaspoon per 2 pounds, okay? All right, and one wasn't quite full. All right, so there's our cumin. And then it's a 1/2 teaspoon oregano or Italian seasoning. Now I have Italian seasoning that I'm actually kind of trying to get rid of. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that. And of course, Italian seasoning would have an oregano in it just by nature. It's usually oregano, rosemary, maybe a couple other greenery things, parsley and whatnot. Okay, then a teaspoon of salt. And I go through a lot of salt, so we have it in here. And salt is really crucial in a marinade too. I don't know what it does, if it helps penetrate that meat or just plumps it up and adds moisture to it, so it's retaining more moisture. But yeah, salt. I use kosher salt. Okay, next thing, black pepper. And it's not much, and I love pepper. So I always go over on the pepper. So it only calls for a 1/2 teaspoon per 2 pounds of chicken, okay? I am using double that, easy. And I have no qualms about that. I love it. Okay, now this is gonna be thick. That's the thing with this marinade. It's really thick. It's more like a gloppy paste. I am not a fan of that. So I always add water to mine because I want it much looser than that. So yeah, again, when I show you this, it's like a paste, okay? So I am going to add water. Just add enough water so it moves around freely. Okay, so like in your Ziploc bag, if that's what you're doing, you want to be sure that it's coating everything. I would literally have to rub this on the chicken when it's this thick to get it to coat, and I'm not doing that. So I've got lids for these. I'll put in my chicken and then I'll just shake them. Now what's nice about this recipe, you guys, is that this is meant to marinate anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 days. That is my kind of schedule. So you just put your chicken in here now, throw it in the fridge, and be sure that you're keeping it turned consistently and whatnot, so that marinade really penetrates it as evenly as you can. Does that make sense? And yeah, you have got a couple days before you need to deal with it. And again, we're going to be grilling it for the events. I will put a photo in the comments so you can see how that turns out. Now, my suggestion again, to make these rice bowls, lime cilantro rice. Super easy and delicious. So start out with your base, and then it's just all the fixins, like all the fun stuff, right? So corn, like canned corn. You can also buy canned corn that already has onions and peppers in there, so it's beautiful. Black beans, cheddar cheese, shredded cheddar cheese, sour cream, picante sauce, all the things, black olives. You can like go crazy. So this is a super fun recipe to do, especially if you're feeding a crowd, because Mexican, in my experience, is always a hit. I don't disappoint people when you do Mexican. Now here's another option you can do with this. Not everybody's into like the rice bowl thing, right? So make it a salad, okay? So be sure you've got plenty of shredded lettuce. And if people would rather just make a salad, delicious. They can go without the rice, and then they can just add on all their toppings as they choose, okay? So I hope you give this a try. It is the bomb. I mean, I'll be honest, it's the bomb. So I'm hoping to come to you more with these copycat recipes, with these dupes that you can make at home that satisfy that itch for having something at a restaurant that is probably not going to be as healthy as you can make it at home. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed this. Again, look for the picture. It's delicious. I hope you give it a try. Let me know what you think, and have a great day.